Good morning. And we've realized this is pretty early, but hopefully we'll line up the rest of the seats. My name is Kenel Kosa. I'm the group CEO for FilmOne Entertainment out of West Africa, and with a passion for storytelling and a commitment to elevating African cinema and African cinema experiences. Joined here with a dynamic team, and we are collectively looking forward to an engaging hour with you. So thank you, guys. Just a very quick summary of FilmOne. FilmOne Entertainment is the leading West African film production and distribution company. And we have been working with filmmaker partners and a lot of our international partners and studio partners to really elevate cinema experiences and African stories in a way that we feel significantly impacts the ability to touch the lives of our audiences. And we have been able to do this very strategically. And at this platform, of course, working with each and every one of you and some of our partners that are here in the screen, we've been able to build the strategic alliances. And so we want to thank you for taking the time to come and sit with us, and hopefully we're able to have a very robust conversation, starting off with a presentation by my colleague Ladu, who's our Chief Content Officer. Our portfolio expands beyond the shores of Nigeria specifically. We have been at the forefront of some of the highest grossing Nigerian movies in our markets, and our distribution tentacles expand well beyond West Africa and, of course, on the continent. And our impacts over the last decade has been extremely clear by being able to continually innovate and work with our filmmaker partners to not just serve the market with pure, clean, and authentic African stories, but also to work with our filmmaker partners to elevate their ability to have our movies travel globally. And so hopefully as we dig a little bit deeper into the conversations, you'll be able to have a more robust understanding of not just what at FilmOne we can do for you and our filmmaker partners, but most importantly is about the opportunities in our markets as we continue to tell our stories in a global sense. I want to introduce my partner and our Chief Content Officer, Ladu Awobuku, to join me on stage. But before she comes up, I think I would also like to stress that whilst we may not be able to give you as much and comprehensive data about our market, we have our yearbook that we would typically send out every year. We have physical copies that we would be letting go off and sharing with each and every one of you, so that post these conversations, you also have some more context and information about our markets. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. My name is Ladu Awobuku, and I'm happy to be here today. So we have a short presentation that we're going to go through today, and it will set the tone for the conversations today. A deep dive into the opportunities to present African stories to global screens. It's what we have channeled for a long time, is what we stand for. We believe strongly that our stories should be heard, need to be heard, and we believe that we are at the forefront of starting these stories and making sure that it lives even beyond us. So I'll go into it. Okay. Can I have the presentation? Okay. So the first page. Oh, I should go back. There we go. So expanding Nigerian cinema to the world. Just checking that everyone can see the screen. We can see it in front here. The first slide is just looking at sub-Saharan Africa and the key facts of sub-Saharan Africa. about 1.2 to 1.5 billion people in sub-Saharan Africa, out of which 60% are 25 years old. I mean, that shows you from a potential, the addressable population and what is really possible. We also have a table just sort of, again, we're forefront of Nollywood, right? We're talking about Nigeria, showing the performance from a box office point of view over the years. From 2020 to 2025, you can see how Nollywood has contributed to the global box office performance over the years. It's grown. We believe strongly. In 2024, Nollywood contributed 46%. We believe very strongly that this year would be 50% and maybe going higher. That is something that we're very proud of. That's something that we're very proud of, and it's something that we honestly should be proud of and we can hone into, because this is box office numbers. Imagine what we can do on the platforms, on the streamers, etc. We have a content-hungry market with nearly 1 billion mobile connections and 500 million internet users. I'll go to the next slide. This is unlocking Africa for Africa. We talk a lot about global opportunities and how we want to scale globally, but a lot of Africa isn't even connected from a content point of view. We have so many languages, but a lot of them connect. Whether it's French, in French-speaking Africa, how many countries? Over 10, I think. You know, and English, a lot of people speak English. We can have Swahili movies and just do it together. I think that there is an opportunity for us to connect Africa and African stories together, and that is a long-term goal for us, to build a self-sustaining Africa ecosystem and connecting all those together. Then moving to the global distribution pathways. There's always infrastructure, right? FilmHouse at the moment has 12 cinemas, with a plan of expanding to how many? 16 by the end of the year. This is something that we are very, very proud of. And to be fair, even encourage other players to come in as well, because, I mean, we all win. Global co-productions, I feel like before the end of the year, we'll be hearing a lot more about these with global studios, partnering with local studios, because at the end of the day, that's how you get more people to see your content. You're leveraging opportunities that are international. Local streaming platforms, actually both international and local streaming. We know that the big guys or the more popular American companies have come. We've seen an upsurge of other local players or African players coming and already sort of putting their hats in the ring. We expect that we'll see a few of those coming in the year as we sort of take our life in our own hands, I guess. And of course, scalable financial models. A lot of people have so many plans that they want to do, whether it's with filmed content or with game shows. As somebody that is presently sourcing for funds to do a game show, and sometimes the financial models that are available just do not work for them, or most of the time they can't even make sense of it. So just be able to find those scalable financial models, educate people on the opportunities that are available, and prefer solutions to get these things done is something that we're very, very passionate about at FilmOne as well. The FilmOne strategy. We believe in local excellence and global vision. I would say to a large extent, if we could say so ourselves, we have excelled locally, but we are not resting on that. We are looking for new frontiers and looking for ways to impact lives, especially young people. We're presently working on something with teen actors now, because we want to see a way that we want to see to it that they fully explore everything that they want to explore, whether it's growth in the acting or growth in their delivery of projects. So we're working with the young ones now to the hope that when they get to their 20s or 30s, they will be fully fledged and not typecast in any role. Our core pillars are championing storytelling, Nigerian storytelling. There's so many Nigerian stories that are untold or haven't really been told properly. That's one thing that is a core pillar for us. Aggregating high quality Nigerian titles. When we have access to these global platforms, we want to make sure that the content that they have access to are the right ones, are the ones that speak our story very well, and from a quality point of view is how we want to be reflected. And then building scalable distribution pipelines, both locally and globally. We've started that, and it's something that we want to grow into. We are constantly educating ourselves, constantly meeting with people that have done this thing right in emerging countries and saying, how did you do this? How can we do this as well? We do not believe that we know everything, but we believe that we're on the right track, and we want to do it. We're passionate about it, so we're going to get it done. The road ahead. Our roadmap includes a diverse content export slate. One thing I like about how the box office is moving right now is that because cinemas are back. I don't know about any other countries. When I know about Nigeria and I know about Ghana, cinemas are back. We're seeing this weekend we released Final Destination. It's a Warner Brothers film, and the box office is double the expectation. And this is for a horror film that doesn't really do well in our region. So you have to understand that when people are coming out in Nigeria to watch a horror film with very minimal marketing, you know that there's something that is going on. The cinemas are back. We're seeing Nollywood films, whether it's epic films or action films or dramas or period films, and people are coming to watch. So they're back. But what that means is that now gives us an opportunity to have a diverse content slate. We're not limited to, oh, it's only comedy or it's only action or it needs to have this face. Because we already have the people coming in, we can now be a bit riskier in the sort of films that we give, and I'm so excited to see that. Structure global marketing campaigns, I guess, is the reason why part of the reason why we come to events like this, where, you know, from a global marketing point of view and film marketing, you get to see what's possible, and we go back home and we implement it. So that's something that we're looking forward to doing. International licensing and co-production deals. We've done that with some of our licensee contracts. We plan to do that as well, moving on in the future. And support for emerging voices with international appeal. I referenced something that we're doing with teen actors right now. We're starting there, and we're going to do some other things with post-production leads in Nigeria, because again, we really believe that the future is with us. We're young, we're vibrant, we're passionate, and it's our turn. The world is watching Nigeria. What will we show them? At FilmOne, we're building a future where Nigerian cinema is not only watched, but wanted worldwide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much. Now, just before you introduce the conversation on the panel, I think that, you know, there's a lot of talk, obviously, about what we stand for in the market and the infrastructure, but at the heart of it, we are in Cannes, and so it's really about the films and it's about storytelling that we have to share with you. And I think that we have a robust panel to speak to it. And our expectation is that through the conversations, you'll be able to see the important work being done in our market, not just by FilmOne, but a lot of the very important, I would say, players that believe in the importance of nurturing talent in a manner that allows us to be able to tell stories in the most authentic way for our global markets. So do you want to introduce?
Absolutely. So we now have our main panel for the day that will be moderated by Ijoma Ona, the founder of NIFS. Can you please clap for her? It's called Monetizing Nollywood, Pathways to Global Revenue.
Thank you. Good morning. Bonjour. And thanks for, I know it's quite early, but thanks for finding time to join us for this session. And we're going right into the conversation. I want the other panelists to join us. Nicole Hasenugo, she's a writer. Please join me, welcome her. And then Naz Onuzo, producer from Inkblot, and the co-founder of Inkblot Studios. Okay. So this morning, within the short time that we have, because we actually don't have so much time, we are going straight into the conversation to look at what are going global, right? And, you know, monetizing our content. What are the opportunities that exist for Nollywood content? I think we're at a very crucial time. You all will agree that we're at a very crucial time in our industry. And we often talk about going global, but monetization across territories and across different platforms, you know, it comes in different ways, and it's important for everyone sitting here to actually understand, you know, from our different experiences, okay, the revenue stream that Nollywood is underutilizing. So that will be my question. Ladun just told us now that cinema is back. Right? Do you think, for example, that cinema is still underutilized in Nigeria, or you believe that there are other monetization pathways that are still underutilized in Nigeria. So I start with you, Naz.
One day when I come on these your panels, you ask me the easy question. One day. But clearly it's not today.
Okay.
So I think that...
Sorry, before you start, can you just
introduce
introduce yourself a bit? Yeah.
Okay. But what you did was so good, but it's okay. My name is Chinazo Nuzo. Most people call me Naz. I'm the founder of Inkblot Studios, which is primarily a production company based out of Nigeria. I'm also a filmmaker. I write and direct films as well. You can decide which one is more important here in the backdrop of Cannes, whether you should be a filmmaker or a producer. But it's been a good journey. We've basically built one of the largest production companies in Nigeria, working very close with our partners, FilmOne. I think we've made about 30 films, and they co-produced about 20 of them, including...
22.
Oh, sorry. Including some of the biggest films in Nigeria, like The Wedding Party, the New Money series, etc. So it's been a really cool ride over the last decade, and we're looking forward to what comes next. How about that?
Yeah, no, thank you. Now to your question.
So I think that Nigerian cinema is important, and people will continue to develop that over time, but it's a function of how much you can invest in the existing infrastructure to expand it. But one of the things that distribution does is that you can take advantage of other people's infrastructure. And one of the key areas that has not been tapped by Nigerian film and television is global TV locally. So there's a lot of programming there, but historically the barrier to entry there has been dubbing, subtitles. The cost of those things have historically been so prohibitive that the local stations could not afford to license them and bear that cost. But one of the things that technology has done over the last, I guess, 1 year is that it's bringing those costs down significantly. You can, like YouTube, for example, does automatic subtitles in multiple languages for things at the click of a button. So you're going to be able to see that Nigerian films will now be able to travel if we are intentional about targeting those spaces. And I think that could lead to a significant flowering, because Nigerian content is the largest black content in the world. And we talk about disparate things, and that experience is valid across multiple geographies. So I'm looking to see what will come of that.
Beautiful, thank you. Nicole, from a writer perspective, the kind of stories that are coming out, do you think there are and bringing the stories to life, right? To the the right kind of audiences. Do you think that there are pathways to making money that are still being underutilized?
Yes, I think Ladwin touched on it a little bit, but I would say licensing our story formats. We have a lot of productions coming out of Nigeria, but I think sometimes we treat them as one-offs instead of treating them as, a universe, instead of treating our stories like intellectual property that can be exported. And I think that if we go back to the story process and really understand that we're building IP, then we will build in a way that has, potential, world building, character development that allows you build universes. So when we come to the table for a deal, we're not just coming for one deal, we're coming for 10 deals out of one story. I was telling my cousin earlier that in my office in Lagos, there's a copy of Eze Goes to School. And I think every Nigerian knows Eze Goes to School. But I wonder why we haven't seen that story in multiple ways, So I think that we need to invest more in our storytelling from an IP perspective, and then we'll be able to monetize in that way.
Wow, thank you so much. This is something that, we have actually not paid attention to. How do we make those stories? How do we adapt books into films? We haven't seen a lot of adaptations into films. But of course, I understand your passion as a writer. So yeah, it makes sense for you to actually, point us to that direction to say, listen, I think we also need to look at making money through adaptation of rights. Thank you so much. Kene, you next.
And I've done a lot of talking, so I'm just going to build off the points that Naz and Nicole made. But I thought, just building off specifically what Nicole's spoken about is the lens in which we look at our ability to adapt our stories and tell them in a way that is not just relatable locally, but also globally. And we do have a lot of amazing, authentic stories that are untapped. And the moment you mentioned that, I started thinking about who's holding those rights. And, Ladu, we should probably talk about who's holding those rights. But yes, these opportunities exist. And I think that we have to collectively figure out ways that we are telling these stories and having them make the necessary impact that don't feel like one-offs, and they feel like there's something consistent about our ability to tell stories that go global. I agree.
Thank you so much. Just one more question because of our time. There's rise of streaming, definitely, and also theatrical releases in Nigeria. We've seen Nollywood closing up gaps with Hollywood a lot, and even brand collaborations. We're seeing quite a lot of that happening. And diaspora-focused distribution, we're seeing film releases in Canada, in US, for Nollywood, and of course in the UK. Do you think that, which monetization pathway do you actually believe still has the most potential, the most promise for the next generation of, Nollywood storytellers like Nico here?
So I'm mindful of time, and I want the other panelists to have an opportunity to speak to it. But I would say this much very quickly. I think that there is a ton of focus around monetization, but I would say that we should probably just channel our focus to the necessary impact. I think that if we are able to tell authentic stories with the right impact and the right intentionality, that the money will come, and I don't know that we should always lead from the commercial when we want to tell stories that are so powerful that we know have the ability to make the right impact.
So you're saying that we should also look at development?
I think it's vital. If we want to compete on the global stage, we have to be able to develop our story. We do develop our stories, so I need to be mindful about saying that, but we have to be able to ensure that we're giving the development the necessary investments it requires. And then most importantly is that we're nurturing the creativity that exists in our market. And if you look at the success of films like My Father's Shadow, that is an example of the beauty of authentic Nigerian story that leads with creativity. And so the commercials are very important, but specifically at FilmOne now, it's something that is a priority for us to ensure that we're able to allow creativity lead, and then the commercial will follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just before I take that, you mentioned My Father's Shadow, which is the very first time a Nigerian movie is getting into the official selection at Cannes under the Uncertain Regard section for the festival, and it was screened yesterday. Yes, so I think it's also a step forward for us to be able to begin to make this kind of artistic because we are of course very commercial in Nigeria. Yeah, Nicole.
Yeah, I agree with everything he said. I run a development agency called Write Good Stories, and the whole point of it is to be able to develop writers and hone their craft and really give them the space they need to create. I think to the question from a monetization perspective, the new Nigerian storytellers, I think what you said about diaspora-focused distribution is a really vital point. I'm going to name drop. Last night, I was talking to Daniel Kaluuya very casually. And, I said that to him. I said, listen, we all need to come together as global diasporans, global Africans, and tell stories that actually reflect our reality. So many of us live all over the world, and we're not really seeing ourselves reflected back on the screen. So kind of challenging this idea of what authenticity is and just being really honest with who we are. And then if we're able to tap into the real reality of Africans globally, then we will band together. We will sell out our screens. We will be the ones who create this community and force around our stories.
Absolutely. Creating the community and the force around our stories, not just locally, but making our local stories to go global. I think that is also very, very important and a very good perspective. Thank you so much. And Naz, what would be your take on this?
So let me start by saying I love cinema first. So cinema is very important to me, and long form is very important. But when you talk about the next generation of filmmakers, I'm actually curious to see what they will do with those short form formats. So like they have come out of China that you're also now seeing with real shorts, where there's a lot of monetization in those quick bites of story development content. So I will find that like us older people, our brain doesn't really work that way in terms of storytelling. But watching young people who have consumed short form content their whole lives build that narrative, I think that Nigerian storytelling will, given how rich our stories are, we will be one of the dominant parts of those types of platforms. And I'm looking forward to see what that looks like in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm too old for it, but the new generation, they will do something really cool there, I think.
Of course, definitely we can't discount that, because you also are looking at a very young audience population who have very short attention span. So it's very important that we're also thinking towards that. It may not make so much sense now, but yeah, being futuristic and knowing that this is where we are headed, I think it's a very, very valid point that he has made. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we didn't bore you. We don't have so much time. But yeah, we are here to just keep driving those conversations around our industry and helping to provide the right kind of information that will help you to understand better what is happening globally. Nollywood is the next big thing happening, and it's already happening. And we hope that this conversation will actually open up new opportunities and open up new doors for us to be able to take our industry to the next level. I want to say thank you so much for your contributions, and please stay on as we go into the next session. So I will. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and there's coffee and some drinks over there in case you didn't have a breakfast before you came. Yeah. And so I want to invite the next panel. We're looking at a movie out of Nigeria, The Head. Yeah. And there will be a short clip that will play, and Lado will come to moderate this session. Thank you.
So,
just staring, and he's no longer just Fuller. You are family. Now you are ready to step into a new chapter filled with joy and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the latest couple in town, Mr. and Mrs. Adebi.
What if it's not what you think it is now?
It's a lump, Gosi. It's back.
Don't say that now, Adama.
I can feel it.
What if it's just a...
Gosi, please. I know what I'm feeling.
I wish I was there with you right now.
I know.
We'll fight this again, together.
I'm not doing chemo.
What are you talking about? Of course you have to.
I don't want our family to go through that painful journey again. And I know what I want. I don't want chemo.
Can we talk about this when I get back? I leave tomorrow.
I'm not changing my mind.
Adama, I'm not going to let you die.
Babe, we don't have the money. And I don't have the strength.
I have 25 million in an account somewhere.
Where did you get 25 million naira from?
I got into a deal. Hold on. Hey, how far?
My feet are killing me.
Everybody and their mama want to take picture with us. Like, see, we be celebrities. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness.
Let me call you back.
Hey, mommy.
Mommy, I'm coming.
You just want to adjust her bra.
Yeah, just right.
Yeah.
Hurry up. My church members want to take
Oh,
pictures.
okay. Man, I'm bouncing. Just quick adjustment there.
Just bra.
Really?
Bruh.
Yeah, that's the only thing
Hello,
that came to
everyone.
my
Sorry,
mind.
we're just watching 5 minutes of this film. If we could all sit down, please.
Lucy, please, can you take us back to the hotel, please?
Well, let's just go.
If we could all sit down, please. We're watching 5 minutes of the film.
Exactly. Look, I beg, we need to escape from here, please. Before we take the pictures for the rest of our lives. Okay, there you go. Let's go. Oh my God, I'm so stuffed.
My party. Hi, Francis.
Ike, I said no jumping on the bed. Come here. Put down. Don't play outside. Hi. Okay, good.
Oh my goodness, I'm sure your mom's gonna be so pissed at me.
Babe, she'll be fine. Honestly, does she want us standing on that bed?
Oh, that was 5 minutes of a film that is coming Q4 of this year. Today we have, unfortunately the director couldn't be here today, but we have his business partner here today, Toyesi Etimefyong. Please come on. And we also have the privilege of having Kaline, who scored this project. Please come on to the stage as well. Thank you, ladies. Yes, please. Make sure it's working here.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. So The Herd, I've seen the whole film and it's beautiful. Tessie, let's start with you. Why did you guys feel that this was the sort of film to come out with in this time?
So, hello everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Daniel had been in front of the camera for so long, and he had deep stories that resonated with him that weren't being told on screen. And so he decided to put on his director hat, his filmmaker hat, to tell a story of just resilience and family and love in a way that hadn't been shown or hadn't resonated with him before now. Mm-hmm. And that's how the Herd was birthed.
Yes, it has a lot of soul. There's so many twists, and truly I can't wait for the world to see it. Kaline, I mean, I find that with scoring, right, and I can't score a film, let's start there, but I always feel like with romance and like comedies and stuff like that, it feels like it's probably infinitely easier to do. Yeah, so how was it doing a film that was about like kidnapping and it was so strong?
So much grit, yes.
That's the word, so much grit. How was that for you?
First of all, great question. First of all, hi everybody. Such a pleasure to be here. Great question because it challenged me. And of course, I love projects that challenge me musically. It just makes me push the, push the envelope a little bit more. With scoring for this sort of drama, but also a bit of a thriller, I had to really dig deep into the idea of how it felt for the characters, the husband and the wife separate from each other, working with Daniel very closely, who had a very clear vision for what he wanted the sonic identity to sound for this film. And that's an amazing dream for a film composer with a director who knows what he wants. Yep. But yes, I had to really dig deep into my music theory and also find what makes an African movie sound African in the context of the genre that it's in as well.
Absolutely. And I think final question will be, what is one word in your opinion that describes this film, if you could?
I think we said it already. Grit.
Grit.
Yes.
And you?
I'll say authentic.
Yes, I agree with both of you. So I'll just say it's authentically African. Thank you. I get 2 words. Okay, thank you so much. This film, we're going to announce the release date very, very soon. It's a beautiful film. It's authentically African. It's very Nigerian. And it's something that definitely quite a lot more people than you think can relate to. Thank you so much, ladies. And
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. We have one more film to wrap up the day. And it's a film called 77, the Festac Conspiracy. We're going to play a video now, but I just wanted to say that at 2 p.m. today, we will be screening this film at the Palais G. I'll say the room number later, but let's watch a very short clip on this film and we'll speak to the filmmakers. Thank you.
Since we left Ibadan Barracks, it's like a part of him didn't come along. Speaking to him is like talking to a wall. He just stares at you and says nothing.
When trouble sleep, young Gago wake up. Waiting they find.
Since you know I'll ask my name. Narcissa, waiting beyond me. Fine, but
when cats sleep,
I'm not sure saying that you.
The Free Africa movement is here to liberate the black mind. Africa is the buffet of the West. A trade fair in which our destinies are being sold. Today, it is only my voice you hear. But tomorrow, a million voices shall thunder this gospel of freedom.
I really want to know what is underneath all of this noise. And if we're dealing with devils, I'd like to know how big their horns are.
What do you want from me?
The takedown of the 3 targets. 1 opening ceremony, 1 night.
Say yes, and you will have 25,000 naira tonight. But must it be done by you? You have a daughter now.
It appears that the group's mercenaries may have been smuggled into the country by a dismissed officer, Joseph Deo.
From Badagry, we move to Deo. Shoveling vital resources into the investigation of a group that I expressly told you does not threaten national security.
So how did it lead on?
It was an order.
The consequence of this conspiracy is the total disintegration of the continent. And Festac is their launching ground.
I'm looking for the technical director for the festival.
I don't want to see you anywhere near that festival. Anywhere near.
Fisayo, make my stage come alive!
The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand, and I shall make your enemies your footstool. Akbar has come. History will glorify us. Comrades, welcome to the Renaissance.
Whatever it is you're doing, Joe, don't put me through hell again.
Thank you very much. And as we close today, this film unearths one of the most ambitious cultural events in African history. But I think it would be remiss of us to not remember where the fire first started, and that was with 76. 76 was such a gripping thriller that took the world at storm, and I want you to please just join me as we introduce the executive producers of 77, Mr. Toyin Princewell and Adonai Oweruwa. This morning, we're honored to have the executive producers who have helped bring this bold vision to life as we talk about the inspiration behind the film, the research that fueled it, the creative choices made, and what it means for African identity and cultural storytelling. So thank you, men, for gracing us this morning. I would just like you guys to give a brief introduction of yourselves and a quick, path to the journey of 77, coming off the beautiful, beautiful 76.
Yeah, so I'll go first. My name is Adonijah Owiriwa, popularly called Adonai for short. I'm an executive producer, a producer, and also an actor. Like he said, we produced 76 and then went ahead to do 77. So just because we don't have a lot of time, right, I just want to say this. People have been asking, why? Why did you go into this kind of ambitious project, 77, that happened like way back? And my answer is very simple. For far too long, our stories as Africans have been told by others. And they have been told, from the lenses of other people that does not really, really capture our truth, our identity, our authenticity. So we think it is really important. I mean, it's often said that if your story is to be written, it's better for you to hold the pen. So that is why we have decided, to join voices in this campaign for Africans to tell our own stories. And by coming up with this project, we have not just created a film, a historical narrative. We have actually made a statement. Telling this story in our own voice, authentically, with artistry, is a statement. It's a statement that Africa is not just a region waiting to be discovered. No. Africa, our stories are complex, but they are relevant globally. We are here, we are ready, we are aware, and we'll keep pushing this narrative.
Well, I'm not sure there's much more to add than that, except to say that for us, 77 was inevitable. After 76, which is almost, 10 years ago now, there was a demand for 77 by the audience. It was the first movie to be screened in TIFF on merit. We got to London for BFI. Unfortunately for us, we didn't realize that you don't go to BFI before you go to Berlinale. We're still too new in the business, so Berlinale was not happy that we had already screened at BFI. But the attention that 76 garnered made 77 inevitable. We were more interested in shooting a movie about Boko Haram, and we're still probably going to do that. But the demand for 77 was so overwhelming that we felt that we just had to do it. And for those who know about Festac 77, which was Black Africa coming together in Nigeria, over 56 countries, including Brazil, Caribbeans, the USA. Stevie Wonder was there. The whole world was there. And it seemed like a fantastic opportunity as a sequel to 76, which is on Netflix, by the way. It was just inevitable that we should do 77. And we already have an offer from Netflix. Am I allowed to say that?
No.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say that. Please scratch it from the record. I didn't say that. But there's a strong likelihood that it will get global distribution again. And so it will come to your screens. For those that can't watch it today, when we're screening in the Palais, we just think that we want to show the world that Nigeria is not just for Nigerians. Nigeria is for the world. Africa is for the world. And that we can bring out good product, high standard, good quality, and deliver it to the rest of the world. So thank you very much.
So, gents, look, at FilmOne, we pride ourselves at working with very diverse filmmakers, and we're proud of all our kids. But if you've seen 76, and if you haven't, I urge you to please go on Netflix and see it. It is such a powerful cultural movement for us as a people and also for the continent. 77 amazing, doesn't it? To live up to 76, beautiful, beautiful film. I've seen it. We urge you all to see it. It's been a while that I've had to fend off these many sales agents about this film, so we're really excited about what it is to come with 77. But I need to just ask you this, being mindful of time, is, Festac 77 was such a monumental event for African cultural history, right? Yet it's still largely forgotten. There just isn't enough light shed on it as a big cultural part of our history. Why do you think that is? And post people watching 77, what is the primary impact you'd love for people to walk away from that experience with?
Okay. The world understands that Africa is very important. Africa has, some really, really relevant stuff to bring to the table. But we have often been neglected, misrepresented, and in some cases, even marginalized. So these projects, 77, Festac 77 was such a pivotal, point in the history, global history of Black and Africans. And like you said, it's not being talked about. So if we don't talk about it, who should? Who are we putting the blame on? Why is it not being talked about? It's not being talked about because we are not saying anything, because we are not talking about it. So that is the reason why our forte, for now, is actually telling stories that are authentic, making movies based on real events. If you see 76, you'll attest to that. That was based on real events. So this is a real event, and this is, a very important point in our history, because that one event united Black and Africans all over the world. One event. But sadly, it was short-lived. It was sweet that happened, but again, it didn't continue. It was marred by maybe politics and other stuff. So telling this story, I want audiences to leave the cinema feeling bittersweet, happy that an event like this actually happened, could happen, and that sad that it was short-lived. So there's an urgency, for us to come together as Blacks and African, to forge this unity again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we want to thank you guys for taking the time to come out to our showcase this morning. We understand it was pretty early, given that yesterday must have been a pretty eventful night for a lot of you, but you chose to be here. And so we thank you. We want to encourage you to please catch a special screening of 77 at the Palais G at 2 p.m. It is very limited seating. And so, we look forward to seeing some of you out there today at 2 p.m. But thank you for coming. Thank you, guys. We're really excited about 77, the Festac conspiracy to come. And hopefully we'll be back here next year, and we'll get an opportunity to get your sense of what you thought about it when you get a chance to see it. So thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.